Hey everybody, it's your friendly neighborhood Uncle Pete here. Thanks for checking out the video. I really appreciate it. Well, here we are at another installment in my horror movie Superlatives collaboration with Carlin Cook. We're up to 1988 today. We're almost done with the decade, and we're having so much fun with this series, and I want to thank everybody who's been watching these videos. And please do me a favor, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and subscribe to Carlin's channel as well. He puts 3 or 4 videos out a week, really great content, and I really think you should check him out. Well, like I said, we're up to 1988 today, picking our horror movie superlatives. So, as always, after you watch my video, and if you haven't watched his yet, please go to his channel. Link will be in the description. Watch his video, and then go to the community tab on his page and vote for who you thought had the better picks, whether those picks most closely resembled yours or whoever had the better justification. Just watch both videos and then vote. We're having a lot of fun doing this. And as always, put your selections down in the comments down below. I love to read what you guys pick because we all have opinions. None of them are wrong. And I love to hear and read what other people like and love about certain movies. So definitely go do that and check out his channel as well. So I think that's about it for the introduction. So let's get down and pick out some horror movie superlatives for 1988. My most amazing pick for 1988. I'm sure most of you can guess if you see who's been sitting behind me for every single video I've done. Child's Play. I love that guy. Damn, I love this movie, and I love the entire franchise. It stars Brad Dourif as Charles Lee Ray and the voice of Chucky. You also have Chris Sarandon and Catherine Hicks in this movie. Alex Vincent as Andy does one hell of a performance. He's a cute kid that he shows happiness really well, fear, anger, excitement, and he doesn't come off as annoying or excessive. He puts out a great performance. There are scary moments in this film, there are funny moments, and this movie is just great. I love all the performances. The movie plays on the fear of what would happen if your toys actually came to life. The puppeteering for this movie is incredible, no CGI, all practical effects. Child's Play is one of my favorite horror franchises, and I'm sure you can tell because I have him in every single one of my videos watching out behind me. And I've covered the entire series in my Nails in the Coffin franchise, and I will definitely get to the TV show and Nails in the Coffin on that one as well. I love the story in this movie. I love the legacy that Chucky has had. He's one of the long-lasting slashers in the history of horror. He's been around for long time. He's great. Brad Dourif is iconic as the voice of Chucky. He's one of my favorite horror movie actors. And Child's Play is a fantastic movie and easy selection for my most amazing pick of 1988. For my So Bad It's Good flick, I went with Hobgoblins. I don't know why this movie is ranked so low on IMDb, but Hobgoblins is a great movie. If you've never seen it, it's one of those tiny creature films similar to Gremlins, Critters, and Ghoulies. And I love it. I think it's a great movie, and I could have picked this as my most underrated movie as well. It has some interesting choices in acting. It's a little off sometimes. There's really no depth in any of the characters. Most of them are just, basic cliches. And this movie came after all those other small monster movies that I had mentioned, and you can tell that it just tried to jump on the bandwagon of the success of those movies. But this is a fun movie, and it's totally worth your time. There's some silly scenes with the rake fight versus somebody holding a hoe. The hobgoblins look pretty good. It's just a fun movie, and yeah, it's a bad movie when you look at the acting choices and some of the way these characters are portrayed, but it definitely is a so bad it's good movie. Definitely check it out. I do like it better than Ghoulies, and I put it really close to Critters. Depending on, what day it is, I might even put it over Critters because it's kind of a guilty pleasure of mine. Hobgoblins is great. A pretty good, so bad it's good movie. Now for the WTF movie. All I really have to say is Frank Henenlotter, brain damage. That name goes synonymous with WTF. I believe I even chose Basket Case as my WTF movie for 1982. If you like Frank Henenlotter films, you're also going to love this one if you haven't seen it. Almer is a wild character. He is hysterical. He's a foul creature that supplies a powerful hallucinogen directly into the brain of his host, Brian. All he asks for in return is some brains. I'm laughing because it's such a fun movie. And the movie sells WTF so well. There's some scenes that take place in an alleyway behind a building that I really even can't show you here on YouTube, but it's going to make you go, WTF. If you're familiar with any of Frank's movies, I mean, you can pretty much guess why I selected it as WTF. It's fun to. I love the practical effects with Elmer. Seeing his little probe go into the back of Brian's brain, and he faces these hallucinogens. Fun movie, and yeah, Frank Henenlotter, WTF go well together, and this might be my favorite Frank Henenlotter film. It's really excellent. I do love it, and that's why I chose it as my WTF movie for 1988. Now for the best gore. Another movie I probably could have picked for most amazing, but The Blob. Not only is this one of the best remakes ever, the gore effects in this movie are something else. Out of all horror movies I've seen in my lifetime, I've always, you look at the way people die, and when you watch horror movies, well, at least I do it, you kind of think, hey, what would it be like to die that way? That's how I kind of judge how awesome or bad the kill is. I think The Blob is one of the worst, if not the worst, way to die in a horror movie. When you see Paul's death in this movie, that scene still gives me chills to this day. And it was all done with practical effects. If they made another Blob movie today, it'd probably all CGI, and I don't think it would be half or any good at all. The way they would make the Blob, you consume people. The effects artist made it look like the Blob really was alive. It's a creature with no shape or form, but the Blob looked like it could strategize. Think about what it's doing, and, you get ready to make its kills at will. People are half melted and disintegrated, and it just looks awesome and gruesome. And out of all the horror movies, the hundreds and hundreds I've seen in my lifetime, I think being killed by the Blob would probably be the worst way to die in all of horror. But let me know what you think down below. Is there a worse way to die other than the Blob in a horror movie? I'd love to hear what you think. But yeah, the effects in this movie are something else. They still give me the chills to this day. Fantastic. One of the best horror movies I've ever seen. And yeah, Blob, definitely best gore for 1988. Most unique movie? Killer Clowns from Outer Space. When you hear the plot of this movie, it does not seem like it would work, but the movie works and it's awesome. And I think it's a true comedy horror film. It has comedic scenes as well as some really horrific scenes with many people dying. I do think this movie is unique. And, there have been many movies about evil clowns, but I don't think a movie's done like this one, mixing comedy and horror so well together. And they really stick to the concept of killer clowns. It's what I think this movie's so unique for, because the clowns use popcorn cannons. They use guns that turn you into cotton candy, and they drink your blood with it through a crazy straw. They have cream pies that melt you and kill you that way. It's a crazy, crazy movie. I also could have picked it for WTF, but I really do think Killer Clowns from Outer Space is unique because it was a movie that probably shouldn't have worked. Yeah, that's a great movie, and I really do think it's unique because I haven't seen a movie like it since, so that's my selection. Now for my most overrated pick. This one may be controversial for some, but I went with Nightmare on Elm Street 4, The Dream Master. I love the first three movies in this franchise. I love the first one. I love Freddy's Revenge, and Dream Warriors is it's just an incredible movie. But this one just didn't really do anything for me. They kind of made up their own rules in the series, like when Alice starts to gain the powers of her friends, and it's got that corny scene when she's in front of the mirror putting on a spiked bracelet, her brother's headband wrapping around her wrist, taking the bug killer, sticking it to her belt, and she's all badass and stuff. And to me, it just came out really corny, and it just didn't do anything for me. She uses all these items on Freddy, and none of them work. So I don't understand the point of adding all that in there. I think this was definitely the start of the more comedic Freddy. Now, it's not as bad as the Power Glove, but you can definitely see it's starting to get to the road of that point. And I didn't really care for the ending. Alice beats Freddy by showing him his reflection. But if you watch Dream Warriors, Freddy's in a bunch of mirrors all at the same time. So yeah, I don't think he's ever had a problem with seeing his reflection in a mirror before, but I think the movie kind of made up their own rules for Freddy, and it just really didn't do anything for me. It's not a poorly made movie. I mean, the performances are solid, but yeah, I just didn't like the rules they made up, and it just didn't really do anything for me. And that's why I picked it for the most overrated horror movie of 1988. And my selection for the most underrated horror movie, Waxwork. Another movie I really don't hear a lot of people talk about. It's about a group of college students that visit a wax museum, and all the displays in the wax museum contain stock characters from the horror genre. However, when one of the patrons get too close to the displays, they get sucked in and killed by whatever display they're in, and they kind of become part of that display. This movie has a pretty cool werewolf transformation scene that I enjoy, and I really don't want to say too much else because if you haven't seen this movie, I definitely think you should check it out. It's a pretty good comedy horror, and it has lots of references or mentions to many characters in the horror genre without actually saying their names. But like Alien and Friday the 13th, they don't mention those films, but they're referring to it, and I kind of like to watch the movie just to pick out, hey, what movie are they referring to right now? It's got a pretty good movie. It's got a pretty good cast. I really do enjoy it, and I definitely think you should check out Waxwork. I don't hear enough people talking about it, but that's why I selected it as my most underrated horror movie. Well, ladies and gentlemen, those are all my picks. Here's a quick summary. Most amazing, Child's Play. So Bad It's Good, Hobgoblins. Frank Henenlotter's Brain Damage for WTF. Nobody Can Beat the Blob and Its Gore. Most unique, Those Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Most overrated, Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4. And most underrated, Waxwork. Thanks again for checking out this video. I truly appreciate it. And if you haven't done so already, please go to Carl's channel, link in the description, and go to his video with the same name as this one. Watch his, and then go to the community tab on his page and vote for who you thought had the better picks, whether they closely resembled yours or if you thought someone had the better justifications. He also has all the polls still open for all the other years we've covered. So if this is your first time here and you haven't checked out those videos are still all available, and you can still go vote as well. And we truly appreciate it. Just make sure you watch both videos first before you vote. That's why it's fair, and we get the real essence of this friendly competition that he and I are having, which we're having a blast on it. So many people are commenting saying, hey, this is really close, and we really love that people are having a hard time deciding between us two, and it just means that we're both putting a lot of work in these videos, and people are enjoying it, and we really do love that. And I love how he and I are introducing people to movies they've never heard before. And the same as well, when you guys put your selections in the comment section down below, I'm reading about movies I've never seen, and I'm definitely going to go have to check them out. So we really, really appreciate everybody. Do me a favor, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a video, and please check out my Nails in a Coffin series. I'm currently at Camp Crystal Lake for the summer covering all the Friday the 13th movies, and it's a lot of fun. I've also covered other franchises such as Child's Play, Scream, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and Urban Legend. So be sure to check them out and check out Carl's channel, subscribe to both of us, and hit those notification bells so you don't miss a video. Take care of yourselves, everybody. Take care of each other, please. Stay safe, stay happy. I am your friendly neighborhood Uncle Pete, and remember, with great kills, there must also come great nails.